Okie dokie. So today I'm going to be doing a intermediate tree pattern. It has like trees on a dirt path with a blue sky underneath it, and it's really pretty. And this one is only 12 rows, so that's fun. Okay, row number 1, you're gonna take both of the light tans, and you're gonna do a backwards forwards. You're going to do backwards forwards all the way across. So backwards forwards. Backwards forwards. Backwards forwards. Backwards forwards. And bam, your first row is done. This one's really easy. Okay, second row, you're going to leave out one of the tans, and you are going to do, whoa. And you're going to do a forwards, backwards, so that tan shows up. Let me just move my chair away because that is so obnoxious. Why is it shaking so much? Okay, and then you're going to take your blue and your green for the next one. You're going to do a forwards, backwards, so the blue shows up. And then you're going to take your blue and your green, and you're going to do another forwards, backwards, so the blue shows up. And then you're going to do another forwards, backwards, so the blue shows up. And then you're going to do a backwards, forwards, so the blue shows up. Third row, you're bringing back in the other tan. And you are going to do a forwards, backwards, no, a backwards, forwards. You're going to take your brown and your blue, and you're going to do a backwards, forwards, and you're going to do backwards, forwards all the way across. So that blue will show up all the way across. Okay, and now you are done with your third row. And we're on our fourth row, and we're going to leave out a white again. A tan. And then we're going to do a forwards, backwards. And then you're going to take your blue and your green, and you're going to do a backwards, forwards, so that green shows up. And then you're going to take your blue and your green, and you're going to do a forwards, backwards, so that blue shows up. Then you're going to take your blue and your green, and you're going to do a forwards, backwards, so that a blue shows up. And then you're going to take your blue and your blue, and you're going to do a backwards, forwards, so that blue shows up. Done with your fourth row. Okay, so for the fifth row, you're going to bring back in the other tan. And you're going to do a backwards forwards. Then you're going to take your brown and your blue. And you're going to make a backwards forwards. Then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make a forwards backwards so that green will show up. And then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make another forwards backwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make a backwards forwards. Okay, we are moving on from the fifth, and we're onto the sixth row. And we're gonna leave out a tan, and we're gonna make a backwards forwards so that brown shows up. Oh my goodness, ow. Then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make a backwards forwards so that green shows up. Then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make another backwards forwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to do another backwards forward so that green shows up. And then you're going to make a backwards forward so that blue shows up. Okay. Done with the sixth row. On to our seventh row, and we are going to be bringing in a tan one, and we're going to make a backwards forwards so the tan shows up. Then we're going to make a forward backwards so that brown shows up. And then you're going to make a forward backwards so that green shows up. Then you're going to make a forwards backwards so that green shows up again. And then you're going to make another forwards backwards so that green shows up. Okay, we're done with our seventh row. Now we're on to our eighth row. We're going to be leaving out a tan. And then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that brown shows up. Then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to make it backwards forward so that green shows up. And then you're going to make it backwards forward so that blue shows up. Okay, done with the 8th row. On to the 9th row. We are going to be bringing back in a tan, so we will have both tans in again. And we are going to be making a backwards forwards. Tan will show up. And then you take your brown and your blue, and we're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue shows up. We're done with the trunk of the tree now. Then you take your green and blue, and you're going to make a backwards forwards so that green shows up. Wait. No, you're going to make it forwards backwards so that green shows up. Then you're going to take your green and your blue, and you're going to make a forwards backwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue shows up. Okay, done with our 9th row. Now we're going to go on to our 10th row. We're going to leave out another one of the tans. We're going to make a forwards backwards so that tan shows up. Set those aside. Then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that green shows up. And then you're going to make a forwards backwards so that blue shows up. And then you're going to make a forwards backwards so that blue shows up. And then you're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue shows up. Okay, done with our 10th row. On to our 11th row, we're going to bring back in the other tan. We're going to make a backwards forwards so tan will show up. And then we're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue will show up. And then we're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue will show up. And then we're going to make a backwards forwards so that blue will show up. And then you make a backwards forwards so that blue will show up. On to our last row. This is the 12th row. We're going to leave out our tan, and we're going to take our tan and our brown, and we're going to make backwards forwards so that tan will show up. Then we're going to make a forwards backwards so that blue will show up. And then we're going to make a forwards backwards so that blue will show up. Then we're going to make a forwards backwards so that blue will show up. And then we make a backwards forwards so that blue will show up. And that is it for this bracelet. Sorry about shaking so much in the beginning of the video, but yeah, then you're going to basically just have a bunch of redwood trees on the dirt. Thanks for watching. I'll put the pattern number in the description. And this is the pattern. Okay, bye.